Hello, I'm IskatuMesk. We're joining hands the end of April 23. This will be a 2 versus 2 of Shambler Enterprises and you, that's you, versus the Mystery. And of course, Veeq. Split like grandma. Now that... Don't fill my head with those images. Jesus Christ. So, this will be my first, I believe my first public cast. Maybe I don't remember if I did a previous cast or not since we moved. It's been all a blur of pain and confusion. Either way, quite a bit has changed. I think they did some small things like adjusting the harvesting again, maybe rebalancing like 80-90% of the units. And attempting to fix some bugs, like there is no longer any notes about having to perform invirtuous AI sacrifices to get replays to work, so it seems like that weird sync issue may have finally been squashed. So, the game pretty much plays largely the same in my experience, but there is definitely some contention about error at this point. Early era, especially Skithra cores, did not really get toned down in their early game damage, unlike a lot of the rest of the game, because of the stacking behavior. And not every race has access to early AoE. Plus, Cyprians are also extremely strong right now. But I think this 2 versus 2 was played early into Fraud Night before the TISM began, before the TISM took off. Really, like it took fucking flight. Now, Mystery Meat hardly ever seems to be around to play with us, so it's quite debatable, I think, if he's been up to speed on these various changes or not. Again, it's not like that really changes the flow of the game too much. Early Hydrock is a little weaker, early Zeths are a little better, Vorvacores, I think have been toned down in this version, but when the updates first came out, early Vorvs would just always kill whoever. They were just so tanky. Zerg also have a regression, where the Vorvacores, when they're killed, will revert back to an egg and turn into a Zethar core, so they can actually tie up your damage for quite a long time because the eggs are quite durable. But it seems, at least for the moment, this game will be more or less standard, with Shambler getting a Warden and making some simulacrums, and Mason dies miserably over there, and indeed it is going to be the Vorvacore spam. So he did see gas and might have been expecting something like Naths, although they kind of something like buggered up with the way they attack, and their attack is really unreliable when things are moving around, and sometimes even when things are immobile. So their damage output tends to be a little inconsistent, and that kind of curbed off Nath rushing. Plus, a lot of people just kind of like okay, a lot of people instinctively build anti-air. But you can see, Vorvacores do attack a lot slower now. So they have definitely been nerfed since this first major revision came up, but they are still 70 health, 1 armor, and armor pen is a little less abundant now. It seems like Popo is going to have a little bit of a kerfluffle here, but... Cock blocked by his own Mason. The Mason went in and out of the bunker instead. Absolutely barbaric. Oh, some fancy feat there, managing to get a kill. And of course, Spider-Mines remain as strong as they always have been. And there was a Vulture that went down here, but there doesn't seem to be hardly any damage done to there, so didn't really accomplish too much. Mystery was going to join the Bang Gang up here along with Ricky Honajase, who is French. He also has lots of Bang Gangs with him as well. And this Saturday was just action-packed with Warcraft 3 events and Fraud Night, and I woke up at like 3 p.m., so that's why I'm not even in this game. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, it's a mess. All the games. There was a number of 2v2s in that night, and they were all absolutely demented. This one here is shaping up to be a little demented. The Vorvacore is looking for an expansion. This bunker was moved here, so they're not early game killing machines like they used to be, but still very durable. And Treasury. Looks like Veeq7 is going to go for an expansion. Pretty much everybody's going for an expansion except for Popo right now, who has actually invested very, very heavily into Tier 1 with 2 Goliaths out and not even a treasury coming. Some ticklers have arrived. Now, I think Vultures felt definitely less impactful on their own at this point than they were as general fighting units. A lot of units just felt like they weren't as responsive as they once were. Whereas Vultures, I believe it is just the result of no armor penetration and the worker health changes. It usually was hard to kill workers en masse, and fighting with units, they seemed a little less effective. So, on the other hand, Goliaths had 2 armor penetration. I have no idea why that's red and says 3 range. That is a long outstanding bug. I have no idea what that was. It had no graphic. That was strange. Might have been a worker? Hydrock? Perhaps looking for a zero course. Now, I believe in this version, penetrating attacks, like the Cyprian in particular, will stop if they don't exceed the armor of the unit. But, like the armor penetration value. But, Cyprians have 2 armor penetration, and a lot of armor was reduced to Tier 1. So, you need 3 armor, and I don't think there's hardly any units that have 3 armor. I've never actually seen it. Goliaths only have 2 as an example, and they're pretty expensive. So, it's not so helpful at Tier 1. Game's slowed down a lot at this point. No more bang gang. Just slowly turtling up. I think a lot of people kind of like, other than the air cheese that we would see all throughout the night beyond this point, early aggression kind of toned off because it was a little harder to... It felt like it was a little more difficult to overwhelm shit on these maps. Like, most of the maps were longer like this one, so Tier 1 felt a little more paced, which is absolutely a good thing, right? It's absolutely a good thing. Now, Shambler here is predicting a push, but there is nothing big yet. They're a little whiles off. Veeq doesn't have anything, but Mystery Kun is definitely going for some kind of aggression because there's absolutely no witness that was a wraith. They can't make a witness. Unless he's telling Shambler to put one in there. Well, Shambler doesn't have an embassy, so it's not going to happen. Mystery definitely wants to go for some kind of early aggression here. Cyprians are particularly strong in bunkers, with the added range, you know, being able to put all that line trace into one spot. As units themselves, they're not particularly overwhelming, generally speaking, unless it's like on a ramp or something, because they only have 60 health. That's less than a 4-core. They're not exactly super mobile, and there's no stimming to be found. So I think, in order for this to be super effective, it's really going to depend upon the usage of the clerics. The clerics can make or break this, along with the Anseal. That'll give them the defense that they need. A lone vulture here will have spotted this attack and knows precisely where it's coming. Hey, look, pings are working this time. I think pings, someone mentioned that pings only work on the faction you have selected or something like that, which is one of those invisible kind of features, but nobody tells you about. So Veeq doesn't particularly have a lot in this attack. Hydras are far from their glory day of slaughtering everything in 2010, just like Savior. And they're not really that much more durable than Cyprians. And they're very expensive. So if this attack doesn't get a lot of mileage in, which there isn't really any response from Pr0nogo over here. Unfortunately, the Matrix was not up in time. Pr0nogo sends a single Wraith. It spins. Oh, drops a mine. Still, oh, never mind. It died. So the Anseal positioning was definitely not that good at all. One of them just kind of flew over there somewhere. And a lot of Veeq's shit ended up dying. This gave Popo the time to wake up and bring over some of his units. This narrow corridor is going to butt-fuck them. Well, those mines didn't really accomplish too much. And as you can see, the Cyprians are a little more restricted here. And he just pulls back. Again, not making any real use of those end seals. There's also 3 Cyprians just kind of chilling out here, just waiting to get killed by something. So that was a terrible disaster. They decided to take the other route instead. They might go for a double-pronged attack here, but by that time, Shambler should be well incapable of dealing with this. Plus some feet. Feet. So stinky. Just landed on that ledge, and that plane just died absolutely miserably. I don't think he was detected. I think he just accidentally attacked something. Oh, no, maybe he was detected by this sand seal. Surely we're going to see Meat Kun go for something meatier like an Atlas at some point. He's starting to pull up gas, but he's a while off. I presume... Yep, there we are. That was the Iral Iris from... What's his donger? So those units are not really in a position to do anything aggressive. They actually moved all the way out here. Nothing is going to be accomplished by any of that. There's actually a bridge over here now. So this map was changed a lot, actually. Pause, please. Shambler had to quickly shamble into the bathroom and locate his bong. Crocodile and Jenkin for the whole family. This is not a very sizable attack, and Veeq is not over here assisting. So the Anseal was in position, but there was no clerics, and half of his units were over here also smoking the ganja. So he took a whole bunch of damage, showed away their presence if they didn't already know about it, all for pretty much no gain whatsoever. Oh, disgusting. Absolutely putrid. Veeq follows Mystery's charge and charges ahead with no backup, only to get a face full of spunk. Absolutely. Oh, and then that Maverick just offs himself. Shambler decides to push down here. The Anseal is in position, but it's just one Anseal. It doesn't make a huge difference. It does help him repel this, but Shambler didn't really overcommit anyways. They may just want to push him out here just to get that expansion. Though Popo isn't building anything else. He does have finally his base down there. The rest of these units are charging forward into Shamblers, awaiting defenses, where they die an absolutely pointless, despicable, disgusting death. Meanwhile, Veeq has decided to take an alternative strategy and is starting to drop his shit onto the sledge, but then they revealed themselves. I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish up here. They might kill a few probes and maybe a cannon and so on, but they can't really do too much to the base itself. And they already know that there's exemplars in play, so they're not really doing anything. I don't know. He could have just dropped right into the mineral line. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he hoped he can navigate around this ledge. Oh, he's going to make basilisks. All right, that's his strategy. But there are still exemplar, and they've had plenty of time to reposition, and they're going to murder every single thing on this ledge. A lot like that. Now, you might kill a couple of the exemplar. Oh, he chooses to back away. Oh. Flash shielding is LMAO. Focus fire the ones with high health. He almost got the one with low health, but it was just too late. Didn't realize that it was so low. Oh, there is a nuke somewhere. That is not Popo. Yes, it is. Where's his nuke? Oh. Where'd he... Oh, he built it here. I didn't realize he had taken this. Yeah, a lot of people don't take that, but it's actually... It's actually a great place. I think Secret Agent Butts may have died. Well, it just annoys Veeq at the moment. He can start mining again, but he decides not to. There you go. Back into business. That was a really ballsy place to nuke. So, Meatcon is, oh. I'm gonna get a little bit of mileage out of this. So, yes, tanks have a parabolic shot now. They fire an actual projectile. This obviously has massive implications because, well, their hit scanning really wasn't as good as in StarCraft 2, which makes them absolutely ridiculous. And part of the reason why their supply cost was raised into astronomical levels. The other reason, of course, being StarCraft 2 performs like absolute shit even on state-of-the-art hardware because LMAO 1997 engine. Now that they have an actual projectile in this, it most certainly makes them much less efficient. Then we have Valkyries, who have been basically binary anti-air counters ever since their implementation. Now, with the stat changes, they deal a little less damage, but they're still tanking machines with 180 health and 2 armor, and they're still pretty cheap, I believe. So, given the way that the stats have been changed, I think you need a couple more Valkyries to hit that critical mass that erases everything out of the air. But given how expensive Exemplars are, you can get probably like 2 or 3 times as many Valkyries for that. Not to mention Exemplars can't attack air, so I'm sure we're just going to see a lot more Valkyries on the side just from here on in the game. Meanwhile, there's still some Cyprians chilling over here. Purpo has been denied this base for a very long time by very non-threatening forces. Madrigal's also a unit of great contention. Feel very clunky to actually maneuver around now. Their acceleration just holds them back more than anything. And the 100 gas cost felt actually really prohibitive, trying to balance them out with tanks. But tanks just seem less effective in general with their projectiles, specifically against Kagerlisks, actually. On the other hand, the enemy team has absolutely nothing to deal with these, except for the Valkyries, who just happen to be nowhere near where their army is. So the Exemplars are able to wipe out most of the forces over here with impunity. Oh, now they're in trouble. He does not pursue with the Valkyries, could have gotten in lots of free damage. Even if he lost a couple of Valkyries charging into the cannons, killing half of the Exemplars would put them in a very good position. But Meaty is not ballsy. There's a lot of dead things over here. Looks like there was a small attack over here. Not too much was accomplished. There's Spiritith that's a little bit wounded, but not too much happened. Both teams are quite passive right now. They're not really, like, there's some small aggression coming from them in the early in the game, but... Oh. I thought that was in their base. I was wondering what... He was just idling over there and started attacking the Vorpicors, and that's what revealed him. Veeq might have been able to pin him against the wall and smother him to death, but... I think Veeq is just trying to scout out and see where the positions of enemy units are. Oh, look, it's Vithrilisks, who are also ridiculously strong. These Exemplar are in... Oh, yes, it was Vassals that... I thought it might have been Vassals that attacked that base, but I didn't see him building Vassals. Those Exemplar are going to get absolutely erased. They're going to be completely caught out, and 2 of the strongest anti-air are out in exceptional numbers now. All they have to do is just turn around. With 18 damage, the armor penetration, and other shit like that, their long cooldown is not hyper long anymore. They're quite strong and also quite beefy. And they have nothing to deal with them except for Vassals at the moment. The Exemplar will deal a little bit of damage, but there's a tremendous amount of overkill at the moment. This is about to be just... Ah, gross. I'm not sure if Shambler realizes how fucked he is at the moment. It's over. This is one of the few matchups that Vassals are not very good at. Normally, in a lot of cases, you can fight high tier units with Vassals, or at least old Vassals. Oh, look, it's the apostles. That's brilliant. Yeah, they're all fucked. That was a huge loss for Shambler. He denied this expansion for a little while, but... he got the apostle out of it. It's a small gain. Engram is in. I have it. I think that's a Protoss defensive structure that we're going to add. Some idle scribes over here. Dude's kind of chilling out doing nothing. But Popo's going towards tier 3. Not really any more nuke play has come out of Popo. He had an Eidolon in the middle idling, of course. Some Irradiate came out here, which didn't really accomplish too much. Might have been looking for a zone, yep. So the Seraph is also capable of using nukes. I actually prefer using them because I'm terrible at managing fucking anything cloaked that could attack and reveal themselves. Neo notification. Well, he got the Watchdog. Highly valuable. Here comes 1,000 Forber cores to run into Gladiuses that are going to bounce balls forever. Oh, there are so many balls. It's just like the locker room and somebody ripped off a jockstrap. Oh my god. Well, he will help Shambler recoup his sim losses, I suppose. Did he sing? Oh, this one might be a little more effective. Let's see how good Popo is on the trigger with this. And this worker is just smoking weeds. Well, he's about to get Crocodile in 5 seconds. Oh, Not sure why the effects didn't appear over there. That's a weird one. Well, Sentinels can't attack air, so putting it on the ledge is absolutely pointless. He might have thought it was a Gosa. Maybe he didn't see the science vessel. There's another one. Meat is putting his meat in the seat. Yes. Oh yes, absolutely most devastating anti-air force. He saved the Exemplar. Not doing too much damage there, but the nuke does pay for itself, killing the Madrigal, actually, because nukes are actually very dirt cheap. They are really cheap. It's like, what, 100 mineral, 100 gas, maybe 200 mineral at the top. They're absolutely dirt cheap. Losing the Seraph hurts a little bit more, but... Got him. Got him. They don't respond to being attacked. That's a weird one. Not sure about that. Oh, oh no, no. No. No, you don't want this, Shambler. The balls are bouncing. They're not bouncing anymore. Oh. Could have gone all in. Yes. Oh, your dudes have AIDS. They're walking into the AIDS. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Disgusting. Here's another. Oh no. Oh, you've got the AIDS. You got the AIDS, man. Nothing responds to being attacked. Maybe it's for the better, and they might just run around infinitely. Tickling has commenced. Absolutely monstrous damage out of those Urusoliths. Popo's being zoned by 3 Vorvacors. I don't know what Popo's doing. Okay, he's been teching this entire time. He has the Atelier now. He's not doing anything with it. taking this base. He is so rich.
Nuclear launch detected.
So rich. Maybe he went AFK. I think he went AFK. Tickling commences. But he has defensive matrix. Oh no. Disgusting. Oh, Ultra Cores have arrived. Well, Veeq hasn't been entirely idle in his tier 3 all this time. Popo has 3.2k gas. I have no idea what he's trying to do with his money. Apparently not much. Meanwhile, Shambler is just in this eternal war, also floating gobs. Nope, Shambler is the only one who's not floating gobs of money. Everybody else is absolutely disgustingly rich. Okay, never mind, those are dropped down here. I was trying to figure out where those sounds were. Couldn't see the little blue things on the map. Finally, Mystery gets some meat. And he dives in. I have no idea what's going on. It's alright, he kills the vassals. Absolutely devastating blow. Just a huge mass of shit out in the middle here, slowly gathering. Finally, some money has gone down. People started spending money. Except for Popo and his 3,000 gas. He is building assemblies now and a cannon. Maybe he just like went AFK for a while. Shambler! Shambler, your exemplars are dying disgusting deaths. Run, Shambler, run! God, they do so much damage. And they spread AIDS onto ground units. And they're so tanky. It's alright. Shambler had like 8,000 fucking minerals worth of shit waiting for him. Ion cannons have started to appear. It's okay, the Wraith is laying down the damage. I think Popo has been asleep this entire game. It's okay, ion cannons saved the day. Just at the very last moment. And Azazel has appeared. Heading out, says Shambler. What with? Oh, I see. He has some Archons. There is a lot more shit over here than he has Archons. Veeq has some idle workers. He also hasn't been mining from this base for a while. Shambler peeks his head out and discovers the entire map is filled with convolusks amongst other shit. Also, there's ion cannons from meat down there too. These are patrolling to do something about this, but just erases the air units. Units are just dying all over the place for the silliest of reasons. The massive ion cannons being killed over here. Veeq is not responding to his allies' plight, and the Archons just fucking fly away. There's so much shit down here, though. Holy fuck. It's okay. Obtecticons are really, really strong. As long as he doesn't get nuked by ion cannons, he might actually be able to win this. Popo finally spent all of his money. Well, he put in his all, but there were ion cannons shooting at him during that. Alright, let's see what Popo has been doing all this time. He is making heavy air. He's just turtling up as hard as possible. Mystery sticks his face in here and just finds thousands of ion cannons waiting for him. Shambler can't make ion cannons, but he can make regular cannons. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Popo and others have mostly spent their money, and now they're starting to float money again. But once you do tier 3, you can spend the money pretty fast, right? And there is some unclaimed gas on the map, but not really a lot. And even if you claim it, it doesn't actually really help you a lot. At tier 3, the gas cost of shit becomes insanely hard to deal with. That's one of the main reasons that ion cannons are a problem, is because, yes, they're very expensive, but once they're down, they can kill a lot of units. You have to invest quite a lot to deal with a good wall. And it takes so much time to get to that stage. That's why Archons is such a great investment, because they're only 100 gas. Now that Ultra Core is being tickled to death, and away he goes. Veeq is sitting on a lot of money, but not a huge amount. He is starting to finally move some... Oh my god, he has Solverlets. That could be a disaster. We're not seeing any more... Apostles. He's also not building any Sentinels to deal with this. So the ion cannons are kind of going down for very little right now. Oh my god, the Solverlets are coming. Solverlets spawn units. When they go over corpses, they spawn more Solverlets. And for every Solverlet within a certain amount of range, they gain stats. Like range. And they lose speed, I believe. We haven't really seen them that much, but against AI, they're incredibly strong. Veeq has waited an eternity for this one moment. But he's up against a massive ion cannons, so how well will it go for him? Shambler is definitely the better target than Popo for this. But Shambler does have balls. And balls are definitely a good choice here. There are just not enough of them. Slowly being tickled to death. They deal 6 damage, but that's 6 armor penetration, so once you get enough of them, they will melt most units. Especially in their current stats. I'm not sure how many units even have that much. So Hippogriffs do actually do line trace damage. Now that it's actually fixed, they actually do line trace. And they're actually probably a pretty good choice for this. Oh my god, they're growing. Oh no. Oh no. The land effects charge forward. There's a single Volk over there. A lone exemplar trying to stop the hordes of Veeq. Popo has been very quiet this game, very silent. He's gonna have to burst out of his cage and spread his wings if he wants to try to save Shambler. Well, a lot of his units just died terribly. There's a lot of Ultra Cores. He might be able to hold up the Ultra Cores on their own, but not with the Solverlets shooting him too. Apparently, I think Ultra Cores heal off of corpses or something, so... Popo assembles his vast army. Oh, he brought his units down here. I wonder where all of his army was. They had moved down there. I have a hard time seeing those on the minimap. So, Meat left, in spite of the fact that Veeq is killing Shambler. I don't know about that one. I mean, a lot of these are very heavily wounded. He could have held them off for a while and given Veeq a chance. His death just seems so anticlimactic. The units just flew down there into his base and that was it. God, there's so many Solver left, so. Veek's lack of control is starting to show. He's trying to deal with the stuff in his base, trying to prepare for that, but he needs his offense to keep going. Otherwise, that's going to happen, right? All of his tech died. All his main tech, that is. He's got a couple of these buildings here, but his main tech is dead, so every loss in his main is going to hurt. It's not really a good time for him to be idling. He's got so much money. Just make a stack of Vithrilisks and call it a day. But now he lost the Spire on top of it. Okay, the Vithrilisks are morphing. Veek might be able to hold that off. But, even if he holds that off, Popo has been able to mend the damage here. Veek has lost all of his tech. Now, those are all fucked. Absolutely erased. Veek saves 2 of his tier 1 structures. Veek does, however, own the entire map. You see, he started to rebuild his tech there. All the heavily wounded defenders. Shambler took quite a bit of damage here, but he still has all of his production buildings. Uh-oh, more Solver. Let's have... Oh. You might be able to mop this up. Never mind. There's still Solverless on the map. Shambler still is not really in the best situation to deal with those. All the Vithrilisks are going north. Maybe not the best choice. Popo is going to continue to build air. If he's going to deal with that, he has to have defenses home, because those units can make a mess of his undefended expansions. There's a lot of Archons. Veek is not doing anything to prepare for the impending onslaught. He has to know that they're going to try to end the game. A lot of Solverleths died, but he can revive with 1 Solverleth. Veek, my man, you gotta pull your shit together! Popo realized he was in a game. You can't sit on your anuses. You must suck them inside. Consume them. Never mind. Popo played the long game, just waited, and then just bolts some air units into Meat's base, and Meat was like, yeah, no. But for so long, I want to see that. So I guess all the units that were dead next to the one Solverleth, they wouldn't have been able to revive those, I think, because they were also Solverleths. I don't think Solverleths can revive each other. The game has a really hard time speeding up. Popo just spent this exorbitant amount of time with an insane amount of money. He still has APM. But it felt like a lot of the time he was kind of just like sleeping. Just a long con, right? I mean, if Shambler was able to hold the map, why not, right? I just want to see his attack on Mystery. Because I think Mystery just kind of like just fell over dead without hardly any contest.
Nuclear launch detected.
I was very much focused on the Shambler Veek story. So Popo's money all vanishes into spamming heavy air. He had so much of it, and it just all disappeared. 2 hippos went down here and chilled out. So Meat knew that these were here for a while, because they killed that command center. He comes down here with his Valkyrie. Oh my god. Oh my god! Wow. Okay. Valkyries have finally met their match. Holy shit, they just fucking melted. No wonder why he had problems. And he has nothing else to deal with this at all. All he's got down here is some mad caps. The units that he rose with the Apostle he never did anything with. He doesn't really respond too much to this, actually. He's building iron foundries, he has his own atelier underway. But you don't see more Valkyries, right? Like, he's got a lot of money, but he's not doing anything with them. He sends in the salamanders, they just all melted right away. He didn't have nearly enough salamanders, and they all approached in a line. He's building paladins, and now he's building Valkyries. There's such a long delay. I guess he may have just been paying attention over here or watching the Sovrolith shenanigans like I was. But as a result, he has hardly any units to deal with this. He approaches with just a couple Valkyries. So these just kill him with absolute impunity. There you go. The Paladins did some damage. But yeah, you can just micro around them. I don't know how to feel about the Paladin, to be honest. It's not really an easy unit to use for sure. All the damage that he received is actually from Irradiate. So he got some good Irradiate damage in there. But that was all he had, because it took him so long to respond. I think that the moment he got attacked by hippogriffs over here, he's got to drop down another like 5 or 6 starports with all that money he had and just spam Valkyries as much as possible. Or even Sundogs or something. You just have enough units that you can separate them out and deal with these. He really did go down without hardly any fight at all. The few Irradiates he got in got them super low. And then afterwards, Veeq gives up when he was still in a good position. Like, a lot of his shit just got all separated in here. He could have brought Sovroliths down here where these units were dying and built more. These are all idle over here for a long time. He brings all of his Vithrilisks back up to his attack, but then by the time they get there, most of the attack force is gone. He isn't building anything. He's got 10,000 minerals and 3,000 gas. And that's after he starts rebuilding his tech, right? Now he starts upgrading it, but he's not building units. Like, he's got to build units. He has to have fuel for the Sovroliths. He still has Sovroliths over here. He needs fuel for them. Just spam Zephyr cores. And just rally point them into Shambler's base, get them killed, and then make more Sovroliths. There was a bunch of Archons in your base. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Bring the Sovroliths down there. Like, he gave up for nothing. It was almost a 1v1 at that point. It would have taken Shambler a while to get economy to be relevant again. He gave up for so little. And that game was really weird. Like, there was just this long, weird pause in the middle of the game where I think Pr0nogo may have been like AFK or something, or just doing something else where he had all this money. Of course, once he had realized, yes, the assemblies are up, now let's actually make units. Like I said, that unit, the money just disappears in an instant, right? Like, he banked forever, and it just was all gone right away. And it was just like one queue. Didn't even max out the queues. They were just all gone, and they weren't all hippogriffs. So we did get to see tier 3 in that, so that was kind of interesting. We got to see Sovroliths. The Sovroliths weren't really as impactful as they could have been, for sure. They could have been way more scary. Veeq just kind of like seemed to just lose interest, lose steam at that point, where he just kind of like lost the will to to keep pushing, because Shambler was pretty much dead at that point. He had all of his production, but all of his military units were over there. They were just Archons. The Archons weren't going to be able to fight a million Sovereigns and Ultra Cores, but he allowed his units to get all separated, and then they got all picked apart. The Ultra Cores all died for basically nothing, and then most of his Sovereigns were still hanging out AFK in the corner over there. And his main, he was really slow to respond to Mystery Meat being attacked as well. Like, again, the second you see the Hippogriffs on the left side of the map, that's when you just build Vithrilisks, build Valkyries, spread them out, kill them before they reach a critical mass. It's not like there was a critical mass of Hippogriffs inside of Meat space. It was, what, like 5, 6 tops? And then a couple of Centaurs? There were so few of them that a couple of Irradiates almost killed them. Right? A couple of Irradiates almost killed them. And if the Paladins had some support, they also could have done good damage, right? Like, if the Hippogriffs are flying around trying to avoid Paladin rockets, they're not insta-gibbing your Valkyries. So, just, there was no response to that at all. Just send Madcaps to die, don't build Valkyries until he's almost on top of your production, and just, it took him so long, he just A-moved through Meat space. Just ignoring any real prioritization, just killing as he goes. There was a huge amount of time for both me and Veeq to mount some kind of response to that, and they just didn't bother. Meanwhile, Shambler had to, like, hold the line for so long until ion cannons came out. He had all this shit sitting in the middle of the map. That wasn't it sitting there until the Archons came and killed it? Like, they just kind of sat there forever. And then Shambler was allowed to dive the ion cannons over and over and kill them over and over. Just for a few Archons apiece. It was really efficient to do that. They really, really wasted their time. It was just kind of a strange game.